Hey guys, it's Hans Hobbies, and this is a review of the 1/18th scale ECX Ruckus. This is a four-wheel drive monster truck you can get for around $99 before tax from your local hobby shop. ECX at the time of this recording is a hobby shop exclusive, so if you want one of these, you're gonna have to hit up your hobby shop. But this truck is also available in a orange body scheme as well as the Torment short course truck. So pick your poison as in terms of what that how you feel about those. But for me personally, I went with the Ruckus monster truck. I think monster trucks are a little bit better, especially for the small scale RC. Kind of helps it go over a bit more terrain. And for how it looks, I think it looks very good. I like the look of the body, a lot of rounded shapes on it, so that should add to durability of the body. The bodies are also pretty decently thick and overall very nice looking body. The one quirk about the Ruckus though, both the 1/18th and the 10th scale, is because it's based on a short course truck, the wheelbase is very long. So the body is also very long. So there's not a lot of bodies that fit 1/18th scales to begin with, but it's gonna make it harder to find bodies, especially for this thing. So that is something to keep in mind. But the body is pretty durable and it does look really nice. So I doubt I will have to replace it. As far as the wheels and tires, these are replicas of the small scale replicas of the ones that come on the 10th scale Ruckus, which are the Speed Treads design. The Torment also comes with a similar tread pattern. It's a high profile on the outside and a low profile on the inside to make room for these huge hubs. And while we're over here, the arm has molded in shock guards for your lower eyelets and as well as your shock spring perches. The drive shafts are plastic and universal slider shafts. All the camber links and toe links and stuff, they're all solid pieces of plastic, so you won't have to worry about alignment and stuff like that. And it also lowers the price and adds to the durability. As far as the bumpers go, the bumper is front and rear identical, but the body does a very good job of making it appear as though they are different bumpers. So taking the body off, and you can see the suspension travel of this thing is pretty decent. It has a nice range of suspension travel, and the suspension is able to collapse all the way, so that should add to the durability of the shocks. Taking the body off, it does have this pretty standard four-wheel drive chassis layout. The front and the rear bulkhead are identical, other than the steering bits up front, so that should add to parts availability. And unlike the truck itself, the parts are available online, so parts are pretty easy to find on for this. You just go on to any place like Tower Hobbies or Horizon Hobbies' own website or any RC car online store, and you should be able to pick up parts for this. As far as running gear, it has ball bearings in the drivetrain, but not in the hubs. So the hubs have metal wheel bushings. So if you want full ball bearings all the way around, you do have to pick up extra kit. You can get the ECX ones that only replace the ones in the hub, or you can get the Fast Eddy ones that replace all of them with sealed ball bearings. The steering is a pretty traditional setup here. The servo is, as far as I can tell, it's a 1/16th scale size servo, so it's a pretty large servo as far as these mini 18th scale cars go. But the ESC is still pretty traditional with a 2-in-1 receiver and ESC combo. It's the Spectrum one that Horizon Hobby uses with a lot of their cars. The motor is a 380 size motor, brushed motor. Pretty standard also in the 1/18th scale size. And the heatsink here is not included. That's something I've added on. The battery plugs are obviously EC3, being Horizon Hobby. And this huge box on this side is actually the battery tray. The battery is accessed from the bottom through this little lock here. You turn it clockwise to unlock it. It only turns one way. You can't force it to turn the other way, but that's not a good idea. And then you stick your finger in here, or fingernail in here or something, and the battery opens up. And the battery it comes with is just this nickel metal hydride 900 milliamp nickel metal hydride 6-cell battery. But it does get the truck up and running pretty well, and it still has a pretty decent runtime, even though it is 900 milliamps. So that is really good to see. As far as the radio goes, it comes with a standard Spectrum RTR radio. The STX2, it has all your trims up here, plastic steering wheel, 4 AA's, pretty basic, but a pretty decent radio. One last little quirk I want to show you before we go out and run this thing is with these Spectrum 2-in-1 receivers, when you turn them on, it makes a pretty unique noise. So I'll plug this in. Turn the radio on. And when you turn it on, so that's a pretty cute and fun noise that it makes. So that's a quick little quirk that I like about it. But yeah, let's get this body on and see how this thing runs. So first impressions of driving the 1/18 scale ECX Ruckus is quite positive, actually. The first thing you will notice is when you pull the trigger, the truck kind of gradually gets up to speed, and I think that's an intentional thing by Horizon Hobby because the stock tires are really hard and pretty terrible on road. So if it had the immediate 100% throttle punch off the line, there would be a lot more wheel spin and it would be a lot harder to control. So probably an intentional thing, but the truck itself is like sprightly enough, it's peppy enough for it to be fun and to feel pretty fast. And I don't think anyone's really complaining about the speed that this thing goes. And the speed and just overall size makes it easy and fun to drive, even on a small area of the parking lot like this. A lot of fun to just jump around and overall just mess around with. But mentioning the speed, the top speed of this thing, miles per hour wise, isn't very fast, which is going to be a common theme with a lot of these mini cars I review. But the small size of it makes it feel a lot faster than it is. You really don't want to be going that fast with small cars like this because if you really think about it, the small size means the smallest little pebbles and cracks in the road become boulders and crevices. So it becomes really hard to handle at actually fast speeds. So the speed that it goes out of the box, I think, is really good, and I would dare say perfect for this truck. It keeps it at a fun pace without being uncontrollable. But if you do want to do a little bit more like precision driving, you're going to be a little bit frustrated with this thing because, like I mentioned, the tires are pretty terrible on road and the stock suspension setup isn't the best. So it doesn't have the most accurate handling, but that's not really the purpose of this truck. The purpose of this truck is a basher, so meant to drive on road, like just on road bashing in the driveway, or off road bashing like this. And here I have it on some dirt, a lot of roots and sticks here, some patches of grass, and it's able to glide over everything pretty easily. The truck is pretty low as terms of ground clearance goes, but the bottom of it is very smooth and flat, so it glides over the terrain really well. And at least with this monster truck version, the big tires, even though they are hard, they do grip pretty well and is able to pull the truck forward with decent authority. The four-wheel drive also definitely helps here. If you do a lot of running with this, like multiple battery packs, one thing I will have to caution you on is to keep an eye on your wheel nuts because they do tend to come loose if you do drive it pretty frequently. So basically every time you change out your battery pack, you want to tighten those wheel nuts up. As far as jumping goes, it jumps pretty well, pretty flat. It's pretty easy to control, but because of the four-wheel drive and the big tires, but more fun than watching a truck jump perfectly is watching a truck crash. And durability of this thing, I have to say, has been amazing. So the reason I do durability tests on some of my reviews is when I see online that people say it's a pretty fragile truck, I want to test that out for myself and see how fragile it actually is. So people said online that this thing was junk, that they were stripping out gears or breaking every plastic part on it. So they were saying it's not recommended, but I had a completely different experience with this thing, and I don't know if this is a fluke or what, but I don't know what they're talking about because I had a really good experience with this thing. I was purposely like crashing it at full speed into curbs, literally kicking it as hard as I could with my feet. And just overall just trying to break this thing, and I haven't broken anything on it. The only issues I've had with it were the wheel nuts coming off, and I popped off the shock cap pretty consistently, but those are pretty minor. Another kind of minor annoyance with the 2-in-1 Horizon Hobby ESC receivers is when it's low on battery, it will like jerk your steering like that, which is pretty annoying, but again, kind of a minor issue. So as far as recommending this truck, I think it's a very good truck. $99. For $99, a full ready-to-run truck, even batteries for the radio included, and it's a very durable truck. And I've still yet to break anything on this truck, and it's just a lot of fun to drive. What you need to change on it can be changed, so it's not a huge deal. The tires can always be upgraded. The shocks are the only issues that I've had, and Hot Racing does make aluminum shocks for this, so I will do a little mini review on these as well, so look out for that. So replace the shocks, maybe better tires, and you should have a pretty good handling truck. So definitely recommend this truck. It also supports your local hobby shop, which is always a good thing to do. And Christmas is coming up, so if you want one of these, maybe call up your hobby shop and see what they can do for you. So thank you guys for watching. If you guys been watching my videos recently, this is kind of more like my old style of reviews. I have been trying out a new style of reviews recently, so if you guys enjoy that, or like it better than this one, or like it less than this one, please let me know in the comments. I'm trying to adjust my review style and just like how I present the videos. This style tends to be a little bit more detailed, and because I tend to ramble at my desk, so it tends to be a little bit longer. But yeah, nevertheless, if you enjoyed this video or have any questions, comments, anything like that, leave them down below. Give me a like, subscribe, all that good YouTube shenanigans, and I'll see you guys next time.